Good morning. It's Tuesday, July 1st. Half of this year is gone already. And yesterday, the Senate's marathon voting session on President Trump's sweeping agenda bill began at 9 a.m. And the session was known as Vote-a-rama. Lawmakers may offer as many amendments to the bill as they want to vote, and only after that's finished can a final vote on the bill be held. Over the weekend, North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis announced that he would not be seeking re-election next year. Tillis is only one of two Republicans who voted against advancing the tax and spending cuts package, citing concerns that the impact that cuts to Medicaid would have on his constituents. And I want to know why there aren't more politicians standing up like Tillis. Because any cuts to medical aid for our people in this country is a disgrace. And Tillis and Trump, upon his reading or hearing of Tillis's decision to retire, said that was great news. And if Trump says it's great news, then it's bad news for this nation. So what really does President Trump want in his sweeping agenda? Probably to destroy most everything that we need in this country. He calls it a big, beautiful bill. Now, I haven't looked at all the parts, but I'm probably going to call it a piece of crap. The House narrowly passed its own version of Trump's agenda last month. While many of the provisions are largely similar, several are quite different, which is causing tension and may delay the bill's progress. The Senate and the House have to agree on one text before delivering the mega bill to Trump for his signature. The bill is very complex, and I can't go into all of the individual components. But here's the list of individual components that are existing in this bill. There's the Affordable Care Act. There's border security. There's business tax breaks. There's a car loan interest deduction represented in this bill. There's a child tax credit. There's a clean energy portion. There's a debt ceiling. There's parts that deal with defense of this country. There's a piece of it that deals with food stamps. And let us not forget immigration. That's an important piece that's contained in this bill. And then you got Medicaid. And you got senior citizen deductions. And state and local tax deductions. And student loans. And tips and overtime tax. Now, many of those things are foolish. When I hear people talking about tips should not be taxed, why? It's income. You pay tax on your income. You pay tax on your earnings. Tips are earning. Tips are not a deal or anything. Tips are earning. So there's no reason not to tax tips. And overtime is work, and you've been paid for the work. It's considered salary, and therefore overtime is taxed. Now, if you want to do away with those taxes, then you should do away with all the taxes. If you earn money, you should pay taxes on that. Now, there may be some exceptions because I'm not a tax expert, and I can accept exceptions, but I can't accept ridiculous exceptions for the payment of taxes. And when you look at situations where people are millionaires, but they don't pay themselves a salary. They earn their money in a different way. And there are many cases of millionaires who are making less money in salary than their secretary because they weren't going to pay taxes on that. But it's legitimate. What they were doing is legitimate. There are ways to avoid taxes. There are ways to gather income where you don't get taxed or you get taxed at a more reasonable rate. But not everybody is eligible for those deals and benefits. So when we look at the situation about taxes and energy producing and all kinds of things like that, we have to know all the information, all the idiosyncrasies before we can make any kind of intelligent decision. So I leave you with that. Taxes are necessary, but you have to be smart about how you gain the income to avoid some of the taxes. So think about it. Have a great day, because taxation is not going to leave any of our lives anytime soon. Take care. Bye. Thank you.